Let me tell you something real quick. Success don't come wrapped in a gift box with a pretty little bow. It don't knock on your door and say, hey, I'm here. No, success shows up for the folks who get up every single day and make it happen, even when nobody's watching. Now let's talk about some habits that ain't optional if you're serious about changing your life. Waking up early is one of the most powerful habits you can build if you're serious about changing your life. And I'm not talking about rolling out of bed 5 minutes before work or school and rushing out the door. I'm talking about getting up before the world wakes up, before the noise starts, before distractions show up and start pulling you in every direction. There's a special kind of peace that comes in the early hours. And in that peace, there's power. That quiet space is where your thoughts become clearer, your spirit becomes stronger, and your vision for your life starts to take shape without interruption. Most people never experience that time because they treat sleep like it's more valuable than their dreams. But when you understand that the extra hour in the morning could be the difference between staying stuck or breaking through, you start to treat it with the respect it deserves. When you wake up early, you give yourself time to plan, reflect, and prepare. Not just for your day, but for your future. The world moves fast, and if you're not ahead of it, you're already behind. That first hour of your day should be yours. Not your jobs, not your phones, not your email inbox, yours. That's the time you use to center yourself, to feed your mind with something positive, to map out your goals, to exercise your body, to get your spirit in the right place. That's the time when winners separate themselves. It's the difference between reacting to life and creating it. There's a reason successful people, regardless of their field, almost always share one thing in common. They start their days before everybody else. Because in that early hour, there's no noise, no comparison, no chaos, just you, your thoughts, your faith, and your hustle. That's when the real work gets done. That's when habits get built and mindsets get sharpened. Most people think they don't have time to build a new life, but the truth is they just haven't taken control of their morning. You can't say you want more out of life, but keep hitting the snooze button on your purpose. You can't claim to have big dreams, but keep waking up too late to work on it. You got to show the universe that you're serious, and that starts with the alarm clock. Now, I get it. Waking up early ain't easy at first. Your bed is warm, your body is tired, your mind starts negotiating with you the moment that alarm goes off. But that's the exact moment when discipline kicks in. That's when you separate your feelings from your future. That's when you decide that how you feel right now is not more important than who you want to become. Every time you choose to rise early, you're sending a message to yourself and to the world that you're not playing games with your potential. You're showing up on purpose. You're taking your shot at life seriously. And let's be real, some of the most valuable ideas, breakthroughs, and inspirations come to you when the world is still quiet. You'll be surprised what kind of clarity and creativity flows when your mind isn't clouded by notifications and outside opinions. You start thinking differently. You start believing differently. You start moving differently. The early morning becomes a ritual that rewires your entire mindset. And it's not just about productivity, it's about identity. Because when you consistently wake up early, you start to see yourself as someone who leads, not follows. Someone who gets ahead, not someone who plays catch up. Someone who takes ownership of their time and their future. The way you talk to yourself determines the quality of the life you build. Most people spend so much time listening to the outside world, they forget that the loudest and most powerful voice they will ever hear is their own. That voice in your head, the one that narrates your thoughts, that either lifts you up or tears you down. That voice controls more of your future than luck, talent, or even opportunity. If every day you're waking up and telling yourself you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough, then it doesn't matter how many chances life throws your way, you won't take them. You'll sabotage yourself before anyone else even gets a chance to. The problem is not always the world around you, it's the conversation happening inside of you. And if you don't get that conversation right, nothing else will work. You've got to speak life into yourself. Speak strength into your situation. You've got to become your own hype man, your own coach, your own source of motivation, especially in the seasons when nobody else is clapping for you. There are going to be days when it feels like you're walking through storms with no umbrella. When life hits you hard and you start doubting your own value, that's when your self-talk matters the most. You got to look yourself in the mirror and say, I've got this. I may not be where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. I'm still growing, still learning, pushing. That's how you build mental resilience. That's how you stop being a victim of your own thoughts. Too many people are living their lives based on labels somebody else put on them. Maybe a teacher told you you wouldn't make it. Maybe a parent said you weren't enough. Maybe you were surrounded by people who only knew how to criticize but never how to encourage. And maybe you've been carrying those words around for years, repeating them to yourself every time something gets hard. But the moment you realize that you have the power to rewrite that script, that's the moment your life begins to change. You are not what they said about you. You are what you say about you. And the words you choose every single day are either building your future or breaking it down. Talking to yourself with love, patience, and belief is not being soft. It's being smart. It's being intentional. It's taking control of your inner world so that the outer world can follow. Because the truth is, your mind believes what you tell it most often. You tell it you're broke, you're stuck, you're not capable, it'll start to make that your reality. But you tell it you powerful, resourceful, creative, you'll start to act like it. You'll start to carry yourself differently. You'll start to pursue things you used to be scared of. That internal dialogue becomes the foundation of your confidence. And confidence is not built by chance, it's built by repetition. You say the right things long enough, loud enough, and consistently enough, and eventually, even your doubts will get tired of arguing with you. That's how transformation starts. Not with the world changing, but with you changing the way you speak to yourself in it. Being consistent is one of the hardest habits to build, but it's also the one that separates the people who dream from the people who achieve. You can have all the talent in the world, all the right ideas, all the motivation in your heart, but if you don't show up every single day and do the work, none of it matters. Consistency is about doing what needs to be done long after the excitement has faded. It's about keeping the promise you made to yourself when you are motivated, even on the days when you feel tired, discouraged, or overlooked. Most people quit, not because they didn't have the skill, but because they didn't have the stamina to keep going when things stopped being easy. They let the lack of results kill their effort, not realizing that consistency is what creates those results in the first place. Every successful person you see, every business, every athlete, every artist, every leader, they didn't get there because they got lucky one day. They got there because they kept showing up on the days when no one was cheering. They practiced when no one was watching. They improved when no one was clapping. They got up even when the bed felt more comfortable than their goals. They kept writing, creating, training, planning, learning, building. Day after day, without shortcuts, without excuses. Consistency is what builds momentum. It's what turns good habits into lifestyle. It's what turns potential into power. And the thing about it is, it's not flashy. It's not dramatic. It's not the highlight reel you see on social media. It's the unglamorous grind behind the scenes, but that grind is where greatness lives. Most people want change, but they don't want the discipline that comes with it. They start strong for a week, maybe a month, then life gets busy or hard and they stop. But the ones who win are the ones who stay committed long after their feelings change. Consistency doesn't mean being perfect. It means being faithful to the process. It means doing it messy if you have to, doing it tired, doing it when no one is congratulating you. It means trusting that small steps taken every day are more powerful than big moves made once in a while. You don't build a strong body by working out once a month. You don't build a strong mind by reading one book a year. You don't build a dream life by only grinding when you feel like it. You build all those things by showing up when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's slow, because that's when the real growth happens. And the beautiful thing is consistency creates confidence. The more you show up for yourself, the more you start to believe in yourself, you start to realize that you don't need to be the most gifted. You just need to be the most committed. You don't need to sprint. You just need to keep walking. Over time, those small daily efforts stack up. They create habits. Habits create discipline. And discipline creates success. When you stay consistent, you develop trust with yourself. You know that no matter what comes, you'll keep moving. And that inner trust, that's where real power comes from. Because once you know you can depend on yourself, there's nothing that can stop you from reaching what you were made for. Discipline is the muscle that carries you when motivation disappears. Motivation feels good, but it's like a spark. It lights up fast, but it burns out just as quickly. Discipline is different. Discipline is the fire that keeps burning even when it's raining, even when it's cold, even when you don't feel like moving. It's the quiet force that tells you to keep going when your body is tired, when your heart is frustrated, when your mind is full of doubt. Discipline is what separates the people who talk about success from the ones who actually taste it. Everybody wants the rewards, but not everybody wants the routine. Everybody wants the stage, but not everybody wants the sacrifice. That's the line discipline draws. And only the committed cross it. When you're disciplined, you do what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. You don't wait for the perfect mood, the perfect day, or the perfect situation. You understand that results don't care about your emotions. Discipline makes you get up early when you'd rather sleep in. It makes you keep studying when your friends are out. It keeps your mouth shut when you want to argue. It keeps you moving forward when it would be easy to turn around. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It tells you what needs to be done and expects you to do it. That kind of structure may sound harsh to some people, but it's actually freedom. It's the freedom to grow, to succeed, to build something meaningful, because you're no longer a slave to your mood or your environment. The truth is, most people are capable of more. They just haven't trained their discipline. They quit when it gets hard. They stop when it gets boring. But those who understand the value of discipline know that greatness is forged in repetition. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's just doing the right thing over and over again until it becomes who you are. That's what separates amateurs from professionals, talkers from doers, wishers from winners. And the best part, discipline can be built. You don't have to be born with it. You just have to decide that your future matters more than your comfort. You have to want the reward more than the excuse. You have to be willing to tell yourself no when the easy path shows up. Discipline also builds character. It teaches you patience. It teaches you respect for the process. It teaches you that short-term sacrifice is the price you pay for long-term success. You may miss out on a few parties. You may miss some sleep. You may have to cut off distractions and say no to things that used to bring you comfort. But what you gain in exchange, clarity, confidence, direction, purpose, is worth every bit of it. Discipline builds the kind of mindset that doesn't fold under pressure. It builds habits that hold strong when motivation runs dry. And most importantly, it builds trust with yourself. Because when you're disciplined, you know you'll show up for you. You know you won't let laziness steal your dream. You know that when it's time to deliver, you'll be ready because you trained for it, you sacrificed for it, and you kept showing up, even when it was the last thing you wanted to do. Gratitude is one of the most underrated habits when it comes to building a successful life. People often chase success thinking it's all about grinding, hustling, and staying busy. But what they miss is that without gratitude, even when you get everything you ever dreamed of, you still won't feel fulfilled. Gratitude grounds you. It humbles you. It keeps your heart in the right place while your hands are building something bigger. You can have all the money, fame, and recognition in the world, but if you're not grateful, you'll always feel like something is missing. Gratitude doesn't just shift your mood. It shifts your perspective. It reminds you that while you may not be where you want to be, you have enough right now to keep moving forward. It turns what you have into enough and what you're striving for into something meaningful. Practicing gratitude doesn't mean you ignore the pain or the problems. It means you choose to find light even in dark places. Life isn't always easy. There are seasons that will break you, moments that will confuse you, and setbacks that will test everything inside of you. But gratitude gives you the strength to say, even in this, I can find something to be thankful for. Maybe it's the lesson in the failure. Maybe it's the people still standing by your side. Maybe it's the simple fact that you woke up this morning with another chance to get it right. Gratitude helps you see the blessings that pressure sometimes hides. It turns every day into an opportunity to grow instead of a reason to complain. And here's the thing, gratitude isn't just an emotional habit, it's a strategic one. When you're grateful, you attract better energy. You become more pleasant to be around. People want to work with you, support you, and follow you when you carry that spirit of thankfulness. Nobody wants to be around someone who's always bitter, always comparing, always miserable, no matter how good things are. Gratitude changes how you carry yourself. It makes you more resilient. It helps you bounce back faster because your focus is on what's still possible instead of what already went wrong. It keeps your ego in check because it reminds you that you didn't get here alone. And you won't go much further if you forget that. Sometimes people think they'll be grateful when they finally make it, but it doesn't work like that. If you're not grateful for the small wins, the little progress, the first steps, you won't appreciate the big victories either. Gratitude isn't about settling. It's about celebrating the journey while you're on your way to the destination. It's about learning to say thank you, not just for what you've received, but for what you've survived, what you've overcome, and what you're still fighting for. It keeps your spirit light in a world that wants to weigh you down. It turns your focus away from what's missing and puts it on what's already working. That kind of mindset fuels you in ways that hustle alone never will. Gratitude reminds you that even though you're still climbing, you're already blessed to be on the mountain. Protecting your environment is one of the smartest things you can do if you want to succeed. The people you spend time with, the conversations you entertain, the energy you absorb, it all adds up and either pulls you forward or drags you down. Most people don't even realize how much their surroundings affect their mindset, their discipline, their confidence. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if you're surrounded by negativity, by people who don't believe in growth, who don't push you to rise higher, it'll start to wear you down. You'll start second guessing your goals. You'll start shrinking your vision to fit into their comfort zone. That's why you have to be intentional about who and what you allow into your space. You don't have to hate anyone to outgrow them. Sometimes love means loving from a distance. Sometimes protecting your peace means walking away from conversations that drain you, from habits that slow you down, and from people who can't see the future you're building. There's nothing wrong with outgrowing the crowd you once fit in with. The growth demands that you leave behind what no longer serves your purpose. If you want to elevate, you have to separate from gossip, from complaining, from constant distractions. You have to clear space for clarity, focus, and creativity. You have to treat your environment like sacred ground because it is the soil. When you surround yourself with people who are going nowhere, don't be surprised when you start to feel stuck too. Energy is contagious. Attitudes rub off. If all you ever hear is, that's too hard, that'll never work, why try? Then you start to think small, play safe, and settle. But when you're around people who are striving, building, learning, evolving, it changes everything. You start to rise just by being in the presence of that mindset. That's why choosing your circle wisely isn't just a personal decision, it's a success strategy. You need people who challenge you, who hold you accountable, who won't let you give up when it gets tough. You need people who speak life into you when you forget your own strength. And it's not just about people, it's about what you consume too. The books you read, the shows you watch, the content you scroll through. You can't fill your mind with noise all day and expect to have clarity. You can't listen to negativity all the time and expect to have a positive outlook. Your mind is your most valuable real estate. What you allow in will eventually show up in how you think, how you speak, and how you act. So choose wisely. Create an environment that feeds your vision, not your fears. One that nurtures your goals instead of distracting you from them. Build a space that reminds you every single day that you're on a mission and that anything not aligned with that mission doesn't belong in your world.